Right, let's talk about what's coming up next week in EastEnders, because honestly, there's a lot going on around the square. Between Zoe's strange behaviour, Eve's mum showing up and Phil losing his temper again, it's shaping up to be another chaotic week in Walford. We've got lies, secrets, family clashes, and even a rescue mission that could go very wrong. It's all happening from Monday 3rd November through Thursday 6th November, so if you love the drama, stick around, you'll want to hear every bit of this. Let's get started with Zoe Slater, because this one's about to blow up.
Zoe Slater's paranoia pushes Kat and Alfie to breaking point. Zoe's convinced someone's out to get her again, and honestly, no one's sure what to believe anymore. After that tense Halloween night, she's acting like the world's against her, while Kat's trying her best to be patient. Alfie, on the other hand, thinks Zoe's being dramatic and insists there's nothing to worry about. But things get weirder. Zoe meets with a private investigator who's helping her track down her long-lost son, and when she gets home, Freddie breaks the news that her kitten's gone missing. Vicky finds it all hilarious, typical Vicky, while Anthony tries to smooth things over, especially after that awkward kiss attempt last week. Just when the family thinks things can't get stranger, they find more photos defaced at the Vic. It's creepy, but then Alfie starts digging, and shockingly, his investigation leads him to one conclusion: Zoe might have done it herself. And here's where it gets sad. Zoe admits she tampered with the pictures but swears she didn't do anything else. She just wanted attention, she says. Then out of nowhere, she gets a message from someone claiming to have her missing cat. Kat's torn. Her daughter clearly needs help, but Zoe keeps lying. Kat even sells her half of the limo business to fund the private investigator, desperate to get to the truth about Zoe's son. But when Kat sets up a meeting with Anthony to talk things through, Zoe loses her temper again, making a scene at the Vic's quiz night. It's painful to watch, because you can tell Kat's heart's breaking. She wants to believe Zoe, but deep down she knows her daughter's struggling with something much deeper. Could this be the start of a full breakdown, or is there really someone targeting Zoe after all?
2. Eve Panesar Unwin faces her estranged mother, and it doesn't go well. Now, over in the Panesar Unwin household, Eve's past comes knocking. Literally. Her mum, Norma, arrives in Walford, and if you watched Eve for a while, you'll know their relationship has never been easy. Eve's nervous from the start. She wants Norman's support for the adoption plans she and Suki have been working on, but deep down, she knows this won't be simple. She asks her mum for a reference to help with the process, and for a moment, it seems like Norma might actually cooperate. But that doesn't last long. You can see the tension in every glance and every word. Norma can't hide her discomfort, and soon the polite smiles turn into arguments. Eve and Suki try their best to win her over, showing that they're serious about becoming parents. But Norma's old-fashioned views creep out, and it's heartbreaking to see Eve trying so hard for approval that might never come. It all ends in an argument that leaves Eve questioning whether she's really ready for motherhood, or if she's destined to repeat the same painful family patterns she's been running from for years. And just when Eve's at her lowest, it's not Suki who comforts her, but Lily Slater. Unexpected, right? The two share a surprisingly honest conversation, and it might be exactly what Eve needs, a reminder that family doesn't always mean blood, and sometimes the people who truly understand you aren't the ones you grew up with. This could really change how Eve sees her future with Suki, and fans are already wondering if this rocky start could delay their adoption plans altogether.
Right, let's talk about Phil, because it wouldn't be a week in EastEnders without him kicking off at someone. Phil returns to Albert Square and walks straight into chaos. He finds out that Nigel's handed himself in after that car incident involving Gina Knight and Jasmine Fisher. Naturally, Phil's furious, but instead of keeping calm, he blames Julie, saying she should have kept a better eye on things. You can practically see Julie's heartbreak, but Phil's anger blinds him. It takes a word from Jack Branning to make him realise he's gone too far. Once he cools off, Phil knows he needs to fix this. And who does he call? None other than Richie Scott, of course, the only lawyer he truly trusts. Later in the week, Phil and Julie accompany Nigel to his medical assessment related to the case, and there's a real sense that time's running out. Phil's trying to play it tough, but this story's bringing back flashes of all his old guilt, the times he couldn't protect the people he cared about. And that's where this storyline hits deep. For years, Phil's been the fixer, the enforcer, the man who always takes charge. But now, with Nigel in serious trouble, he's forced to admit he can't control everything, and that might just be his hardest lesson yet. Fans might notice how this mirrors older storylines, like when Phil tried to help Ben, or when his temper made things worse with Sharon. It's classic Phil. All art, zero patience.
4. Kojo Asare risks everything to save Harry Mitchell. Now this next one's got a proper edge-of-your-seat feel to it. The whole drugs operation that's been bubbling under the surface is finally about to explode. After Gina's released from hospital, she can tell something's off with George. He's clearly worried about Kojo, who's been missing, and the tension only builds when Phil mentions he never approved Kojo's time off from work. That's when it clicks. Kojo's hiding something. Turns out he's been dragged deeper into the drug scene than anyone realised, with Oki, the dealer, forcing him to distribute. But Kojo's not about to let this destroy his life completely. When he discovers Harry is being kept hostage, he decides to act. What follows is one of those moments you know fans will be talking about. Kojo manages to grab the keys, free Harry, and help him escape, even though Harry's barely able to walk. He tells Kojo to go on without him, to save himself, but you can tell Kojo's not leaving him behind. Meanwhile, Teddy reaches breaking point and finally tells George and Junior the truth about what's been going on. George's instinct is to call the police, but when he realises how dangerous this could be for Kojo, he hesitates. It's that father-son bond again, the same one that's been tested time and time over. And in classic EastEnders style, while one crisis is being sorted, another is quietly brewing in the background. Nicola tries to patch things up with George, but he's had enough. He ends things. And then she makes a shocking discovery that could change everything. We don't know what she finds just yet, but something tells me it's going to drag the whole Knight family right back into chaos.
5. Dr. Anthony Trueman's secret raises questions. Let's end with something mysterious, and it's nice to see Patrick's son Anthony back in Walford, though he's clearly not telling the whole truth. Patrick's delighted when Anthony announces he's staying in town permanently, taking a position at the Panesars house surgery. It sounds great at first, the Trueman family back together, maybe a few old wounds healing, but then Anthony makes a suspicious phone call. No one knows who's on the other end, but it's obvious he's hiding something. Is it connected to Zoe, to his work, or is there someone from his past he doesn't want his dad to know about? Fans might remember Anthony's old tendency to keep things bottled up, that calm, polished exterior that always hides trouble underneath. This feels like history repeating itself, and Patrick might be in for a shock when the truth comes out. Whatever is planning, it's clear Anthony's story is just getting started, and with him crossing paths with the Panesars, the Moons, and even Zoe, you just know there's going to be trouble ahead. So that's what's coming up in Walford from Monday 3rd to Thursday 6th of November. Secrets, lies, and a few big emotional moments that'll keep everyone talking. Zoe's lies are spiralling, Eve's mum's arrival could tear her apart from Suki, Phil's temper's back in full force, Kojo's risking his neck to save Harry, and Anthony's acting shady again. It's one of those weeks where every storyline feels connected. One lie leads to another, one decision changes everything. That's what makes EastEnders so addictive after all these years. So, what do you think? Is Zoe really being targeted, or is she losing control again? Will Eve and Suki manage to keep their family plans alive? And what's Anthony hiding? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading your theories. And if you've enjoyed this week's spoiler chat, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss next week's updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.